Good morning. My name is Chris Dunaway. I'm with the LSU Ag Center, and this morning I am in the New Orleans City Park, and I'm going to talk to you about mulch. So it's fall. You can tell it's fall because the leaves are falling all around us. But fall is the season of free mulch, is what I say. One of my favorite mulches to use products is Cypress Leaves. Now, you can see that these trees around me are just about ready to go. They've already started dropping some leaves. Interesting thing about cypress trees is that they tend to lose all of their leaves within a short period of time. So once they start, within the next 3 days, this tree will be completely denuded. Now, let's take a look at a cypress leaf, and I'll explain why I think it's such a great product. So this is basically a compound. It's not a compound leaf. Each of these individual spike-like needles is a leaf. They're arranged on this central stem, but each of those tiny guys is a separate leaf. And you can see that they've got this beautiful reddish color. Now, one of the things great about the way that they're arranged is that because they're sticking out in every direction from this central stem, when you put them in a pile, they really have a tendency to really fluff very well, and they resist compression. So that's exactly what you want in a good mulch, is you want it to stay really nice and fluffy like this, because the more air you have trapped in there, the better insulator it is, the better it's doing its job of being a mulch. So the next question you say is, well, what is a mulch? A mulch is any kind of product that you put on the surface of a garden, or a flower garden, or a vegetable garden, that will do many things. It retains moisture by both creating an insulating layer so that the moisture doesn't just blow away right away. It cools the soil, which also helps prevent the evaporation of the moisture. It's also a very good weed preventer by both blocking out the sun from plants that are growing, and also by preventing seeds from germinating. So, of course, if I leave this pile of leaves on this lawn here, it will kill the plants that are underneath. It will definitely shade them out, and the grass will not be there. So that's the same thing as doing for weeds. The other thing is, like I was saying, with the seeds not germinating, is if a weed seed were to land on this pile, it's going to fall down in between the leaves. It will again be blocked from light, which it needs to germinate, so it will not germinate. And so that's another way of preventing weeds. The other thing about good mulch, garden mulch, is it's just aesthetically pleasing. It really adds a nice little evenness to the soil layer underneath the plants. And I can hardly say there's many things that I think are more attractive than this as far as your mulch materials. So, one thing you can see, though, about this pile that I've raked up is that it's got a lot of sticks and some other leaves in it, just kind of taking away the aesthetic of it. And also, the sticks are going to prevent me from storing this the way I like to. The neat thing about these leaves is that they will last a long time in storage, as long as they're dry. I will collect them, put them in the lawn and leaf bag, and then use my vacuum cleaner to actually bring them down to a vacuum, which compresses them and makes them take up a lot less room, and will help them last longer. But all the little sticks and things like that will poke a hole in my bag and prevent that watertight seal. So the cool thing, like I said, about cypress trees is because they lose their leaves so quickly, you can help yourself out by doing a little legwork in advance. Just a bit. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So, this is it. The tool of choice, the trusty rake. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here and just clean up under the drip line of this tree. A lot of us are trying to grow lawns, and I appreciate that. But there's one thing that you can't really do is grow lawns in the shade of a tree. Let's take a look over here. And you'll see that we've gone from a kind of a lush field over here where the sunlight is to a pretty bare ground, some various types of grass trying to grow, but really most of this palette of plants is weeds anyway. You've got bare ground, and then because they're trying to mow under here, they keep hitting the knees. This is where a cypress knee was trying to come up. It does damage to the lawnmower. It, quite frankly, it looks unattractive down here. So instead of mowing these and raking them and taking them away, why not leave them in place? So as I clean up my piles that I don't want because it's got all the sticks and things, I'm actually going to spread them out underneath the trees closer to the trunks. Okay, so I think I'm done here. I've made myself a nice little clean zone all around the drip line of the tree. Added a little bit of a mulch layer to the area around the tree. So, just looking around, there are plenty of trees. And this one single tree is going to give me enough mulch to last me 2 years. So there's a lot of product out there to be had. Half the people in the world are going to want to get rid of these things, and the other half are going to want to buy them from you. So I will be back in the next, I will check back tomorrow and the day after and see how we're doing. And I will give you an update.